What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. And today I am here to talk about the ACC ahead of the 2022 college football season. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We are also brought to you today by BetMGM, and they have a phenomenal offer for you guys. You can get up to 1K in risk-free bets with your first deposit. All you have to do is click the link in the video description below or use the promo code BettingUCFB to claim your risk-free bet. And looking at some of the win totals we have on the board in the ACC, this is going to be a fun conference to bet. And first of all, you have teams at the top like Clemson, but after last year, I think we can say this conference might be a little more wide open than some of the others. I'm going to start towards the bottom with Syracuse. Their win total is currently sitting at 5. The under is minus 140. So yes, you have to lay a little bit of juice here. But the path to five wins for Syracuse is not really there outside of just a substantial improvement in talent, which I'm not expecting. You look at the schedule, it's going to be very difficult. Their non-con is a little up and down. They get UConn, yes. They get Wagner, yes. But they also have to play Purdue and Notre Dame on top of their ACC schedule. And if we look at bookmaker lines right now, Syracuse has the second longest odds of winning the conference. So they're going to be underdogs if the season started today in every single conference game they play. Some of them will be bigger underdogs than others, but that tells you what we think of this roster. They have quarterback issues. Garrett Trader, yes, he's a good runner, but he struggles as a passer. He was dead last just from a pure passing perspective in terms of PFF grade last year in this conference. Running back, they have Sean Tucker back, and their offensive line is a little below average. So they're going to try to run the ball, and I'm not sure what success they're going to have. And then you look at defense. This could be the strength of the team, but overall, if you're playing these low-scoring, volatile type games and you can't score yourself, you're going to have a lot of trouble when you get to some of the good teams. And I mean, they're opening up against Louisville. That's a high-powered offense. They're playing Virginia really early in this season. They play NC State and Clemson in back-to-back weeks. It's a tough draw for Syracuse right now. We'll go under 5 minus 140. Next one I want to talk about, similar, it's Boston College. Their win total sits at 6.5. This one, you can go under minus 135. And this is also a somewhat difficult schedule. You look at Boston College, they're going to be playing some teams in non-con that are a little up and down. They get Rutgers. Rutgers is an improving team, so don't just chalk that up to a win. They get Maine, they get UConn, and then they also get Notre Dame. So this is a pretty tough schedule for a Boston College team. And then you look at what they have to play in the conference. This team doesn't have the best odds of winning the championship, plus 4,000. So they're definitely in the bottom. They're in the bottom 5 of this conference, meaning if the season started today, they would only be favored against 4 opponents in their conference. So 6.5 here. This is a spot returning. That's solid. But they lost every single offensive lineman. That was the strength of their team last year. And now they're going to be completely rebuilding that unit. And this is a team that generally functions through the run to begin with. That's going to be tough for this team to overcome. And I think when you look at the schedule they do have with Notre Dame and Rutgers in non-con, this could be a little bit tricky. And the last one I want to talk about here is NC State. This is going to be an over. Yes, an over after a couple of unders here. NC State is an interesting team to look at this year. Their win total is 8.5. with the over sitting at minus 150. So it's a lot of juice to lay. The way I want to break this down is I think you could do the win total, or they have pretty good odds to just win the Atlantic at plus 500. And I think a lot of that comes down to just their game straight up against Clemson. Because you look at this roster, and it is a solid roster. They have so many returning players, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, which is going to be a strength of this team. 10 starters return for a unit that was 23rd in overall defense per PFF. They get back their quarterback, Devin Leary, who was a solid incumbent passer. He's not going to be like a CJ Stroud or a Bryce Young, but he's a reliable signal caller that takes care of the ball for this team. They have Thayer Thomas and Devin Carter. They get a transfer in Daryl Jones coming over to bolster the receiver position. I think the biggest question here is, can they replace Zonovan Knight and Ricky Person? Jordan Houston is back. He was the 3rd leading rusher on this team, and they also recruited a 4-star incoming freshman. So I don't think this is going to be a unit that takes a large step back. Overall, with all the players returning for this team, I think you can see a step forward. And their non-con actually pretty winnable. You have East Carolina, Charleston Southern, Texas Tech, and UConn. They could be 4-0 coming out of non-con before they head to Clemson, which is that big deciding game. So again, they dropped Clemson. I think they're still live for 8.5 wins. But if you think they win that game straight up, you could maybe look at them plus 500 to win the Atlantic. That'll do it for us today. Let me know what win totals you love in the ACC and what you think of the ones we discussed. I am Matt Gajewski on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. We will see you guys again next time.